Afternoon, VHR Raiders. This is our weekly review. Sion here. I'm going to go ahead and cover everything that we've done in the last week and do a synopsis, basically a breakdown of how well we did in High Mall. We were able to get through most of normal and in one night. We were also able to do most of heroic in one night. We've accomplished quite a bit, to be honest, as far as our function of execution and involving the mechanics as far as the first 6 bosses. Now, we did have some hiccups on Imp, and I put that on my shoulders. I feel like we kind of relied a little too much on the fat boss strategy instead of me actually just developing a solid strategy based on interpretation of the mechanics and what we needed to do. I'm also going to chalk it up to recruitment on my end. I felt like if we could have just done a little bit better on recruitment, especially myself, that we could have gotten in the people that we needed to. I think that also changing the schedule from doing normal into heroic more consistently, because I wanted that mythic so bad, that it ended up actually clipping us a bit late in the game. If we'd have done some more normal reps than we did, we probably would have been in better shape to be able to deal with it in heroic. We would have saw some of the mistakes that we were making and been able to adjust to it. So those are on me. We're going to be adjusting that, and I'll talk about that shortly in one of the 8 topics that I'll be going over with. Now, I promise the video won't be too long. If I was to type this up, it'd probably take me an hour to talk about it. It's going to take about 6 minutes, so I appreciate you taking the time to listen to it and take it to heart what I'm saying and work with me. Second is our videos. Our videos, I'm on boss number 5, I believe, Hans and Franz. And I'll be breaking down boss 5 and boss 6 today to put up on YouTube, and also publicating the open source document that I've been doing involving each one of them using what's available at wowhead.com. I've cleaned up a lot of it. I don't know if I want to keep the pictures in it, but they're there for now. You do have them available through the Facebook page. You're able to download them, and eventually the idea is you have a playbook of everything that we're talking about, including the strategies. Now, I do revisions on them at times, so you'll see that it'll say revision / so-and-so if I update it. And usually when I update it, it's because I find another piece of material on the glorious internet that shows us just a little bit clearer message of what we're trying to accomplish and how we're doing that. So make sure that you're checking those out. We actually have the Gruel video series, for example, is almost up to 100 views, so that's amazing. I didn't even expect anything. I was expecting like us 20, 25 to look at it, and that's where it was going to kind of, level out. But there's been some really great comments from people too about how they appreciate the series, and if we could keep up on that, I think that we're going to end up having quite a following, quite a base that we're building, not only there but also like on the Twitch channel on Sion35 and other elements like that. As far as for leaders, I'm always looking for people to participate. So if you're interested and you want to put the effort forward to help me and help the guild as a whole to move forward, just come and contact me and we can talk about it. But I do have expectations. I do need assistance, and I need consistency from that. So if you're available, please let me know and we'll talk about it and be able to move forward on that. Like I stated with recruitment, we are going to continuously recruit, and I'm going to actually lower the item level of what I'm looking for, because at this point, I just think that there's too many guilds that are in front of us that can recruit and also have that standing on Dragonblight and Fenris where people just want to participate with them because they're familiar. Being familiar with something is really important, and so that's another reason why, of course, I'm pressing these videos and I'm pressing the channel and things of that nature on Twitch, because what I want people to do is look at us, because we are great. We really are. We are coming together as a really good team that's able to accomplish quite a bit, and we're just a few steps away from that true success where we're able to say that we're doing heroic and mythical content on a consistent basis. So by lowering that item level, I'm going to look for more people not only in guild but also outside of it, and I'm also going to continue to recruit with the SGI add-on. I'm going to look for participation numbers of like level 60 up to level 100. It doesn't matter the item level, I'll be bringing them in just like we did in the past, so that way we have a consistent body of people present and participating. I think that's important, that we always have activity of some nature going on, so that way people just don't, come on, log on, there's like 5 people on, 3 people on, or something like that. I'd like to see the guild in a constant state of, of action. If there's any problems with any individuals, bring it promptly to the attention of a leader. If there's anybody acting out involving violations of our core standards, let me know. They will be immediately removed. Just make sure that, for example, one of the leaders see it or another player can vouch for it, screenshot, something of that nature. Especially things along the lines that are racist or sexist or, vulgar of any nature. Now for signups involving raiding, I need the signups to be more consistent, not just right before we start the raid, because on a daily basis I am recruiting constantly. I am out there talking to people, trying to figure out what we do and don't need, And if I log on at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, for example, and Tuesdays were prime day, Wednesday prime day, where I see like 12 to 15 signed up, and then I come back on later on after at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden there's like 23, 25 signups, 30 signups. It's really difficult for me to understand who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. The calendar and its function are a high priority for me, and they need to be a high priority for everybody participating. So if you can figure out whether or not you're able to participate within at least 12 hours prior to the raid, please click so. If not, at least click tentative. Also, that individuals that I see on a consistent basis not signing up, I'm just going to remove you from the participation. And then you're just going to have to whisper me, and then we're going to have to go back and forth in whispers, and I'm just going to have to stress exactly what I'm stating already. So please just participate and do so consistently with the signups. Now, as far as participation, we raid pretty much 7 days a week because, I mean, what's more important? Hanging out in your garrison or playing on an alt or getting an opportunity to do content with that alt, for example, in High Mall or in BlackRock Foundry or elements like that. I'd rather us have something scheduled and we do it on a consistent basis. Now, I've been giving 5 days consistently, and I pretty much have been leading 4 to 5 days since, wow, we're almost at a year, because in February 15th, I think, is the 1-year anniversary of the guild. So at this point, I've been doing it consistently except for the week of August where one of my dear friends passed away due to cancer. So my participation level has been really, really high, and what I'd like to see is other people follow with that. So on the days that you can participate, and if you can actually increase the days that you participate, please do so. I'd really appreciate it because it'll really stabilize a lot of the issues that we have. When it comes to flex models, the flex model doesn't care whether or not you're a healer or you're the third tank, even though you don't need that, but it's just an example. All it cares about is the number of bodies that are present, because they're trying to keep that algorithm, that mathematical rhythm that they want to do based on that function. It's not that acute when it comes to recognizing, for example, that we're healer heavy versus us being DPS heavy or whatnot. So we need to get our participation levels up. Honestly, a lot of the shortcomings that we had on Imp and Heroic were directly relative to the fact that we had, 2 good tanks being present, great tanks being present, or we'd have like 4 great healers present, but then we'd have not enough DPS to bring that in. Now, I've addressed that with some of the healers, and I'd like to address that with people in general. If you do one thing like DPS, and that's your main spec, for example, and that's what you are, you're a DPS-prone class, like a mage, for example, or a warlock, where that's what you do, you need to be playing the best spec that you can to do as much damage as possible in that spec that is considered the parse high. Second that I want to point out is that if you are a healer or a tank, you need to have a secondary role that you can do well, and you need to roll on gear for that when it comes along as an off spec. Or if, for example, I ask you to do it, then you need to make sure that you're rolling as main spec, so that way you can fill out as much of your pieces as you can to be as functional as possible. Now, is that a lot to know and do? Yes, it is. Well, welcome to raiding. That's just what it is. So make sure that this is something that you work towards on a consistent basis, so that way we can in turn be as effective as possible involving content. Now, let's talk about raid schedule. We are going to do normal. BlackRock Foundry starting tonight, and then there forward until we clear it. So that means we're going to do it, and we're going to do it over and over. We're going to get to Blackhand. I'm sure it's going to be really interesting because there's really not much data out there. They didn't even release him on the PTR for people 6 months ago for the Uber guilds. So it's going to be a learning curve to figure out how to do that one fight there. So what I'm thinking is we get to like 10, 11, for example, or actually there's not much data for the 10th boss either, the group of the 3. So what we'll see there is, we'll probably get to like 9 bosses in normal, and then we're going to go back to High Mall. And what we're going to do is we're going to clear High Mall we're going to get 7-7 High Mall, and then we're going to push through Heroic High Mall, and we're going to go ahead and gain as much gear as we possibly can on a weekly basis. And yes, this might be boring to some degree, but that's not my concern. My concern is to generate as much gold as possible and to outfit every member as best I can with the most amount of pieces possible so that they can do what they have to in a functional sense. If you have any questions or whatnot, please let me know. Click like on the video. Remember to review the other outlines that are available of at least the first 4 bosses as I push them up on YouTube and also on the Facebook page. And have a blessed day. Again, thank you for your effort. Go VHR.